Gentlemen, today I'm going to teach you how to become more effective at public speaking in 5 steps. Now, I am a public speaker myself. I am a wedding celebrant on weekends, and how I became a wedding celebrant is a whole other story, but I speak in front of hundreds of people every weekend. And before I was a wedding celebrant, I was a member of Toastmasters. I was a club president, I was an area governor, and I gave presentations at schools, at universities, and public forums. So I have very good grounding in what works and what doesn't work when you're speaking in public. Now, I know a lot of you are terrified of putting yourself out there in front of a large audience and speaking your mind. So my goal with this video today is to eliminate, or at least lessen, your fear of public speaking. So step number 1 is preparation. For your shorter speeches, you might just want to give a few notes or write down a few notes, preferably 3 main points for your speech. A larger speech, for example, a presentation, will require a little more preparation. This time you want to give a more formal outline, which will be an introduction, a body, which has 3 main points, and each of those 3 main points has 3 sub-points. And then, of course, is your conclusion. That's the end of your speech, where you take what you said in the introduction, say it again, and then finish with a powerful ending. That's your preparation. You could also ace it. You could go in there with just the thoughts in your head. Good luck with that. I think for a lot of you who aren't professional public speakers, I would suggest the former rather than the latter. Which brings me to my second step, which is practice. Now, practice will help you prevent a piss-poor performance. A lot of people will say, well, I'll just write down notes and read off them. Gentlemen, please, don't do this. Don't read off your notes. Anyone can do that. Anybody can read off their notes. Anybody can read. But not many people can speak. My suggestion to you is to memorize your speech. Now, your first reaction is probably, memorize? Well, I've got 3 pages to memorize. I'll just break it down into chunks and memorize it that way. It's not a huge task, gentlemen, but it will separate you from the rest of the other public speakers who just simply read from their notes. How many speeches or presentations have you gone to where the person's just read off their notes and you fall asleep so quickly? But then you see one particular speaker who just speaks to the audience, no notes, and you think, wow, he knows what he's talking about. That's what you want to be. You want to be him. Because I guarantee if you do that, not only will your audience think that you're confident beyond all measure, but you really believe what you're saying. And that's a great public speaker. Which brings me to my third point about notes. Now, notes are good to have. And personally, I have them myself. But I use them as a fail-safe, as a backup. I never, ever use them in the speech unless I get stuck. If I get stuck, I can refer back to them. But I never read. And you don't want to either. Now, this video is talking about effective public speaking. Now, just public speaking, hell, you can read all you want. Oh, that's essentially speaking, but it's not effective public speaking. So, memorize your speech as much as you possibly can, preferably 100%, and use your notes as a fail-safe. Now, when you actually give the speech, the 4th step I want you to remember is this: eye contact. So, with reading a speech, we're essentially looking at a piece of paper. We're not looking at our audience. That's just wrong. It's wrong. It's not effective. Your audience is being left out. You know, public speaking is public in nature. You're speaking to an audience, not to yourself. So, maintain eye contact with them. How do you do that? I like to break my audience into halves. So you have left or right or left, whichever way you want to do it. Essentially, I'll speak to this side of the audience for a particular period of time, and then I'll move maybe to the center, and then off to the left. Now, I'll probably focus on one particular person for each side, and then move to another person. And I'll move from front of the audience to the middle to the back, just so that all of the audience is included in my speech. That way the audience feels like they're engaged in the presentation. You want to engage them as much as possible. Otherwise, they're going to switch off to what you're saying. And that's not effective public speaking. Now, during your speech, there's something else I want you to remember, and that's step 5. Forget your mistakes. If you make mistakes in the particular speech or presentation, keep going. Don't stop. I see so many speakers who just stop their speech, go back to the notes, hurry back to the notes, come back, and then start speaking again. But all of the magic is lost there. If you make a mistake, so what? Just keep going. Refer back to your notes if you must. But don't apologize. Don't say that you're nervous in front of the audience. Please don't do that. Don't say that you're nervous. The audience doesn't know. But the second you tell them that you're nervous, they're going to focus immediately on that. They're going to be looking for signs that you're nervous. They're going to see the sweat on your brow. They're going to hear the stutter in your voice. And then they'll know. If you don't tell them, they don't care. They don't know. So, don't worry about the nervousness and don't worry about the mistakes. If you make a mistake, don't stop. Just keep going. Mistakes are bound to happen, especially for those of us who are not professional speakers. Even professional speakers make mistakes. It happens. I make mistakes every week, but I certainly don't stop. Because the message is the important part. The main points on what you want to get across. Anything else is irrelevant. So don't worry about mistakes. Gentlemen, those are the 5 steps to becoming a more effective public speaker. If you found this video of any use, if you found it of value, please like the video and share it with any other man who may need some help with their own public speaking. In fact, if you really need a lot of help, if you need much more help with public speaking and being a more effective speaker or man in public, then please consider signing up for my Mentor coaching program. I'll help you become a more effective public speaker, but not only that, I'll help you become a more effective man and help you become the best version of yourself. So gentlemen, thank you very much for watching. Remember to share, comment, and subscribe. And remember to get out there, get amongst it, and become the best version of yourself. Man-credible.